Go back with me in time. You probably think a century is a long time, but shorter than you think. We are at a scene of distress. We see the force that cause, or tolerate, or enable the distress. Be that the police, the law, the proprietor, aka the landlord, and his agent. The approval by the church for respective legal process. The sanctioning and the grace by the public and civil service. The fear of the middle class, of the undermining of property and dues. The establishment demands the eviction. The use of the battering ram and the men in green uniform. The tenants removed with force, having the imposition of the church tax for a church they show no allegiance to. Therefore no chimney, nor windows, and only a half door, as they cannot find the money for it. Imposed poverty, the killing of hope, the memory of the famine of the few years gone and recently won Catholic emancipation in their lockers. The land they rent is the land stolen in imperial conquest. The money they give is to a member of another tribe or a wannabe member of that tribe. The other tribe's likely is to another island and the metropolis of London. The money will not benefit the people or welfare of Ireland, not its infrastructure or opportunities to improve its lot. Since the era of the late 19th century, the law hasn't changed that much. The police uniform has an appellation. The courts will find a way to evict you, but the law will look the other way when the slumlord or the tug landlord chooses to break the law and evict you in a roughhouse manner. How much of the money is still going abroad or supporting companies quoted on the stock exchange? How many are living in a room? How many are renting out a shift in a bed? I feel sorry for you if you just see the business opportunity and the profit in that. The making of money out of human misery. Today it is impossible for so many to purchase a house. Rents are sky high. The deposit is prohibitive. The rooms and houses are hard to come by. Will you stay put in a health hazard or a noisy environment or a violent household or a drug-infested building or a fire trap or an insecure abode? Will you tolerate a landlord who abuses his power, who has an official tax-compliant rent but demands an unofficial extra payment? A landlord who does not respect your privacy. A landlord who fails to maintain the building and electromechanical devices within it. The state is the worst landlord. The state believes in survival of the fittest. Dog eat dog. It's up to you to police the loony neighbours. If you get a mouldy hellhole off the local authority in the 21st century, the local public servants are of the belief you should be grateful to have a roof over your head. The state has decided to build few council houses since the 80s relative to previous decades. The state that leases out the private sector for offices and housing. The state that has set up the system and economy for the vulture funds and their allies. The state that has restrictive planning laws and a protective banking system. An economic and legal system designed to fleece the people to serve the developers and speculators and property magnates and financial institutes. But if all your money is spent on rent and on bricks and ultimately intergenerational debt, what money is left for the real economy and on living life? Do you not see it? You have become slaves to the few. How long can this charade of an economy keep going before the house of cards of transferring numbers on a computer screen breaks down? For those on welfare forced to use the private sector, they have to try and find a deposit if they can secure one of the few landlords who take HAP, Housing Assistance Payment, HAP. Then they have to wait a long time to get approval for the HAP, which a landlord may not be keen to wait. Then the welfare recipient may be turned down for the HAP on spurious reasons. True, they could appeal, but now the landlord or his agent has to wait weeks if not months for that adjudication. Surely as a landlord you'd rather deal with cold hard cash and a bank. Then you have cooperative housing, which is a bourgeois plating. The worst kind of middle class get to play God as landlords with their neighbours trying to keep it together. The council have far more responsibility to them, and these co-ops have far more overarching power than the councils. Legally, they and the homeless hostels don't have to adhere to humane standards that we would expect. Don't kid yourself that the lawyers will help, for they don't care. The homeless and tenant charities are no better. Then the homeless hostels have the most appalling power a landlord can have. They run billions more insane than any psychiatric institute, more violent than any prison. Homeless hostels are the living experiment of the Lord of the Flies. What am I talking about? This housing crisis in all its manifestations. You are aware of, you are inured to. You are distracted by the nose ring by issues outside of the nub of housing in the media. This distraction will go on forever, and there is no clean, fair resolution to. You will, to yourself and to your close friends, complain about it, but you surrender all the decisions, be that macro or local, to the politicians and the elites. How can you make them do the right thing? How can the largest stakeholder in society, that being the people, make those who wield power do the right thing and do it hastily and properly? This is the real crisis. The culture of surrender and willing blindness and stupidity in the people. Sort that out, and the housing crisis will sort itself out very quickly. So let's not sourly surrender. Repeat after me a covenant. We will not surrender all planning and house and flat and garden size, and building of a number of units and maintenance, and limit of facilities and zones of building and construction wages and number of apprentices and quality of workers and quality of build and quality of building supplies to the politicians and the civil servants and the compadres in the building industry and financial organisations and solicitors and real estate agents and those seeking profit at the expense of others. We shall not be browbeaten by the propagandists in the media or university teaching class or the apologist bourgeois chasing a dream that gets more restrictive by the year. We will not salivate over advertising of overvalued houses in the media. We will not take no for an answer. We ask if it physically can be done. We ask how to plan and realise it quickly. We accept many of the elites will lose out on cheap, easy money. But do not worry for the elites, for thanks to their connections, they will still make cheap, easy money. You may say amen, brother, for that's the covenant. Repeat this for this year in 26, next year in 27, and the next. Do not give up. Do not go quietly in the night. For many of us, we cannot handle being crushed up by this machine. We try it, and the pain in the soul is too much. We do not reject society. No, it's a psychopathic lying civilization that rejects us. In our alternative way of living, we dream, not a crazy dream that all would join us in cooperation. No, it's based on reality, that those who truly walk in the path of kindness find each other, and they cooperate. If they do, watch out. This civilization will turn on its head. We can say over the last 200 years we have made progress, that many do well, but they said the same thing back in 1826, and the people suffered and said it doesn't have to be like this. We can do better than this. They were right, and we are right today to ask for more. Thank you, and consider subscribing.